drop in the chat if you want to tell us where you're from. We'd love to hear it. But obviously my guest for today needs she is multi-talented. Multi-talented actress, as well as a skincare advocate for eczema. And we're so happy to have you with us today. Tia, thank you.
Oh my gosh,
And
I'm so happy to be here and talking with you.
yeah, and let's tell the audience why you're actually here to talk with Aveeno specifically. So today we are launching the first installment of a 3-part series called Skin Visibility, right? And again, I want to say first, because you're raising the bar for us, because you're the first one. All right.
Yay.
It's pretty awesome. You know, for Aveeno, we're committed and deeply passionate about raising awareness to our Black and Brown communities, because we found through research and, you know, just understanding that these communities, when it comes to eczema, it's one of the prevalent skincare conditions that actually impact us. And so, but there's a lack of understanding what it is, how to get information, and just overall understanding even what it looks like. So we want to close that gap, that educational gap, and, you know, make it more so that everybody has access, gets more knowledgeable, gets the treatment and the management that they need to treat their eczema.
Amen.
All right. So everybody already see who my guest is. I'm your host, Sabrina Henry, Aveeno's principal scientist. So Tia, we can get started.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
All right. And one more thing, too, for my audience, if you have any questions, as Tia and I are talking, please feel free to drop them in the comments section. We'll be taking them in, and hopefully we'll get to answer some while we get through our conversation today.
Awesome.
All right. So now some of our questions, like Tia, we know that you've used your platform to talk about eczema and your journey through it. And so it must not be easy going through that journey, but especially being in the public eye. So can you talk to us about how that's been and, you know, how that experience has been for you?
Well, just my journey in eczema or with eczema hasn't always been a great one. You know, you had mentioned already that, you know, unfortunately, eczema, it happens to be a chronic condition that affects a lot of people within our communities. And it happens to be underdiagnosed. And I truly feel like that's exactly what happened with me. I had eczema in my teens when I was younger, but I didn't even know that I had it. And my first recollection, or should I say, of eczema symptoms was actually with my mother. My mother, I remember her hands would peel, you know, like how like a snake's skin, like just sheds and peels. My mother's hands and feet would do that. And how we would deal with it was almost like this superstition. Like she would just be like, oh, her hands would itch, right? And she'd be like, oh, if my right hand is itching, and let me know in the comments below if you got this too.
Right.
But my mother, she would say, if my right hand is itching, then that means I'm going to have to be paying some bills. And she was like, oh, we don't want that. But if my left hand is itching, then money's coming. So that's basically how I dealt with what I now know is eczema. So my mother, it happened with her. Then, you know, when I was in my teens, it would happen with me. And then I had a really bad flare up when I was in my 20s, and my skin was actually just peeling on my hands. And I was already dealing with a lot of like highly inflammation kind of like issues within my body. I've been very open about my diagnosis with endometriosis. And then I had migraines, and then I was experiencing eczema. So I sat down with my gynecologist, who is a Black woman. And she was the one that properly diagnosed me with endometriosis. And then she also diagnosed me with eczema. She was like,
wow,
Tia.
Look at that.
Yeah, she said, that's eczema. So she actually referred me to a dermatologist. And there I had gotten the diagnosis, but you know, I believe that this happened to me due to lack of information, due to lack of educational tools and resources, and not having that visibility when it, you know, came to eczema on Black skin. So kudos to Aveeno and you guys for bringing this awareness.
Yeah, and thank you. And I think one of the great things you highlighted there was just the time frame, that journey from, you said it, you know, this is something you've been experienced much in through your teens. You've seen mom go through it. You've had it too. Probably had it when in your younger ages, but it wasn't until your 20s that you
Yes.
actually sought and found a solution and experts
Yes.
that you can get to. And so this is one of you highlight a great point about what impacts the Black and brown communities, that
Mm.
the time frame, right? Unable to understand what it looks like. And we know that eczema, atopic dermatitis being one, can show up looking scaly, patchy, small
Mhm.
bumps, small papules, like you said, you found on your hands and different
Hands.
areas of your body. And if you don't
Mhm.
know what it is, you'll call it something else and kind of brush it and never go seek medical attention. So that's great that I'm happy that you found, a solve for the eczema. And
Oh,
how has that
yeah.
been working for you since going to the derm and up
Yeah.
till now?
Yeah. So basically, I mean, and this is what I want to share with a lot of, eczema sufferers out there. I think what really, really helped me was understanding why, right?
Yep.
So I ended up seeing an immunologist slash allergist, and I learned that my flare-ups definitely were coming from foods that I was allergic to. And I had
Okay.
no
Okay.
idea.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
And my children, they also have eczema flare-ups as well. And theirs is it stems the flare-ups come from like changes in weather, whether it's
Yep.
like
That's mine.
you're going
Mine
from
too.
straight to hot to cold and all
Yep.
of that. So my point is that now that I am aware of what I have, number one, I'm able to find some sort of relief and
Hmm.
treatment, and understand the cause. And then also, Aveeno, I have been since day one when I was first diagnosed. They
Yeah.
said, okay, Tia, this is what you use. And that was
Okay.
my introduction. So it's
Uh-huh.
just great, that Aveeno, has access, or I now have access to, Aveeno's products. And I encourage everybody, to try out their products as well, because they are the bomb. I get it, thebomb.com. Can you still say
Yeah, you
thebomb.com?
can
I feel
still say
like
that. Me and you,
I
we have a, we're
feel,
women of
okay.
certain, we can still say
Okay.
that,
I feel like I'm
and
aging myself when I say thebomb.com. My kids
I
are
know
like,
it.
no, mom, no,
I know
no.
they'll be telling us that's not cool. That's not in right now, but
Yeah,
it still
yeah.
is, and it's
Okay.
great that you mentioned, like, and it goes back to our passion about,
Mm.
as a scientist, I actually work where I create the skincare products that people use. So
Girl, look at you. That is
I'm
awesome.
solving, one of the Black scientists solving skincare solutions every day as part of the brand, but we're also doing research on skin. So in order for me to create a product, I got to understand what's happening to the skin. And as you've even talked about the conditions you have and how you've seen your eczema flare up versus your children, your skin is dynamic. It's living, it's breathing, it's
Mm-hmm.
active, right? And it changes. And
Mm-hmm.
so we're creating products at Aveeno that exactly are addressing those issues. And you've already mentioned we do have an array of eczema-based products on the market today to help those who are have eczema manage them,
This
right?
one,
From bath
this
treatments
one
to
right here,
moisturizers. Oh,
this
she
one
has
right
her
here
eczema
is the
therapy cream.
one
Yep.
that I use it on myself and on my kids, and it's amazing. Sorry,
Right.
go ahead.
No worries. Thank you. Thank you for showing that. We
No.
appreciate it. But it's just to show too, also when we think about Black lives and, the prevalence of eczema through the years within the skin health industry, there's been a growth, right? About in the media and in advertisements and about
Yes.
skin of color and the different skin conditions we have and how they look. But if you think back of like before 10, 20 years ago, it wasn't like that, right? I remember for me as a Black girl growing up, just finding it hard to identify with just images of myself, beauty, just also and especially when it came to skincare products and solutions to help treat some conditions I had, what to even go for, because I'm looking at the images, I'm looking at the commercials, I'm like, I'm not connecting. This doesn't look like what I have. So
Mm-hmm.
for you in your industry growing up, like what is your take on that? How was it for you from kind of relating and the visibility for Black skin,
It was very hard. Everything that you talked about is definitely something that I can resonate with. And
hmm
that's why I'm such a huge, huge advocate for representation.
hmm
Representation, it really does matter. Representation, I feel like it is so profound and it has such a huge impact. When you
Yeah.
see somebody that looks like you, when you are a part of, included, within the conversation,
Yep.
you feel important, you feel validated, you
Yep.
feel heard.
Yep.
And growing up, I definitely did not see that when it came to my skin, when it
hmm
came to like beauty products.
Yep.
We're talking about the inequities when it comes to Black skincare. I mean, Black skin health. And I didn't see myself being represented in
Yeah.
advertising, in marketing, at all. So how can you identify?
Yeah.
And one of my main goals, and I think just all of our goals here, for me, it was definitely being vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
Sharing my story, because
Yeah.
when I share my story, that brings visibility. And where
Yes.
there is
Yes.
visibility, then hopefully, there's someone that will be able to identify and recognize and say, oh my gosh, that's what eczema looks like on my skin.
Yeah.
Well, then therefore you can have some sort of relief to
Yes.
whatever situation that you're going through. And that is just the whole goal here, with this skin visibility campaign,
Yeah.
is just to bring that awareness and
Yep.
that visibility
Exactly.
to help, a lot of people out there who are, suffering from eczema or just being heard when it comes to our Black skin
Yeah.
health.
And thank you so much for that vulnerability and, using your platform for that. Because I mean, you do a multitude of things too, but
Oh,
also it makes it authentic. It makes it real, right? And especially eczema. I think sometimes when you think about skin, it's your first line of defense. That's what everybody sees, right? So no one wants to talk about the issue that's happening there, especially for you. You're out there. You're in the public eye all the time. So
yeah.
I really do appreciate it,
Oh,
and I hope the fans do as well. Like having you out there as an advocate
thank
for
you.
skin and for eczema, and making it known and aware.
Yeah.
It's great to hear that. And so when you think about the skin health industry and where we're headed, right? This is the
Hmm.
beginning. What
Yeah.
else can be done, right? I think you're doing already moving mountains with the part of using your platform to advocate for
Oh,
that. But what
thank
else do you
you.
think the skincare industry can do?
Well, I feel like we can definitely be doing more, right?
Hmm.
What's awesome is, again, Aveeno is putting a spotlight, on these concerns, on this issue, and also what I love what Aveeno is doing. They also have this, you guys. Not only do they have this Instagram Talk Live that we're doing right now, but they
Yep,
also have a digital hub
we do.
where,
We just recently launched it.
yes, where people can go to, called Eczema on Skin of Color, where people
Hmm.
can go to learn more information and to, gain those educational tools. I feel
Yep.
like more
Yep.
brands should be doing that. I
Hmm.
feel like more brands should be having us a part of the conversation and
Yep.
including us. But again, I think we need to see more when it comes to visibility with advertising, marketing, and
Yep.
also having retailers, okay?
Okay.
Retailers support, these missions, these
Yes.
narratives, these brands, because I feel like everything is encompassing, right? We can't
Yes.
just have one tool. We
Hmm.
have to have everybody working
Be a
together.
part
And
of
then,
it.
yeah, and social media, right?
Yeah.
Social media, it's extremely impactful. And I feel like, the more we have those images and conversations being splashed on our social media pages,
Hmm.
I think would be incredible. And just more people coming out and, talking about it.
Yeah, no, it's great. And honestly, I mean, you hit all the points, right? And this is it. And I want to remind the audience, honestly, I see the comments coming through.
Yeah,
You're
I
part of
love
this.
it.
I want to remind the audience, you're part of this being part of our first installment in this series where we're going to talk these personal stories with experts in the field about eczema. You're part of this movement, being part of the
Aw,
conversation, because now from this conversation we're having to you, hopefully this could be a dinner conversation, breakfast
yes,
tomorrow morning, where they're talking about being more
exactly.
visible, especially about skincare and especially within our community. Because I think and again, you tell me, but when you think about your circle, you think about your relatives, you think about mom, your brothers, your sister, you think about who you grew up around. When you think about eczema, how many people can you say come to mind that had eczema?
The only person that I can say that comes to mind is my mother. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And again, I think it's because there are so many people suffering from it,
Yeah.
but they just don't know that that's what it is.
Yeah.
But again, I believe it's just due from lack of information and lack
Information.
of awareness, and those tools and resources, and representation,
Yeah. Yeah.
So to answer your question, not a lot, but I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure with statistics, we see it. There are a lot of eczema sufferers out there, but they just don't know how to treat whatever's going on.
Exactly. And I think it's important that one of the things that you said, like I mean, again, you went to a medical professional who sent you to another one, and that's
Yes.
okay. And I think that's one of the things within our community. It's okay for us to go seek out the medical attention, do the research online or other
Yep.
ways, go to our eczema hub,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to find solutions to really help the conditions. Because, you know, I mean, I have the personal story just the same. My daughter as well, like, you know, has eczema, and just really seeing how her flare-ups, how they come in the different seasonality, understanding and being in this industry. I didn't even, you know, it's being in this industry really helped, right? Like understanding that, but I don't know if I would have taken as much action before that. So it's good. I really encourage everyone to take advantage of the tools, the conversations, to go out and identify if you do have eczema.
Somebody just said, somebody
Mm-hmm.
said in the comments below, what is eczema? And I feel like
Sure.
maybe you could help with
Sure,
that.
sure,
I think
sure. Sure.
okay.
What eczema is, it's a skin condition, a disease, a skin disease state that can show up on your skin as dry, patchy scales. You can also have it show up as
In
small
your scalp
bumps
too,
or
right?
papules. Yes, it could be in your scalp as you had it and your mother in your hands. It could be around your face, your elbows and your arms. It can actually be expressed in different ways and show up differently for different people. Some people, it, you know, may just be a rough, dry patch. Some people may always have a tingling, itching sensation that occurs. So, which is why, you know, and if you check out our hub on, you know, our Aveeno website, you'll be able to see images. What I think is really unique, which what our team has done, is we put images, right? Images, pictures speak volumes. And so go take a look at those images to see what they look like. And guess what, Tia? They'll be able to see it on skin of color, right? Because that's also a difference. Our melanated skin, it's beautiful. But also there's certain skin conditions that may not look the same on someone who may have fairer skin.
Can I tell you something?
Sure, tell me.
So when you had mentioned about, you know, when I was younger and, you know, with eczema and all that, I remember growing up, I had the patches, the round patches. They were raised and they were very itchy on my arm. And I remember my mom, she had sent us to, because you're talking about visibility and just pictures. My mom had sent us to, or me to, a pediatrician. Do you know that this pediatrician said that those were sunspots?
Yeah.
I looked at sunspots on she didn't label it as eczema. She didn't say it was eczema. So I didn't have any.
You always thought it was the connection, the awareness. You just was like, okay, these are sunspots that occur maybe in the summertime or when it's hot. I get them, but they might not have been, there wasn't the case. It seems, right? Yeah. So it definitely is powerful information.
Yeah. And just being able to, like you said, have pictures to go to and say, this is what this looks like. This is what I have. Okay.
Yeah, and it's powerful too. People can bring, I know even for me, I'm in the industry, so I like, you know, I'm talking to the dermatologist, but bring your pictures. You can bring your pictures of the different conditions when the flare-ups occur, so you can start identifying. And also, when people are looking for products, I think you gave a good point too about products, like looking at what the solutions are, right? Are they clinically tested? What is the information about the product that you're using to manage your eczema on a day-to-day? Or if you're going to your medical expert to get prescription products for treatment, they'll be able to kind of clearly lay that out, right? Because you want to know end-to-end how to take care of it. But one of the things I want to also segue and ask you is, when you think about our series called Skin Visibility, what does that mean for you? If you had to think of a few words or a phrase, what does that mean? What does that translate?
Skin visibility to me translates to awareness, right? Having an awareness, being a part of, being included, like I said before, being validated when it comes to representation. And so skin visibility to me also means, you know, representation. And like I said before, where there is visibility, then at the end of the day, you're hoping that there would be some sort of identity and recognition, and therefore have some sort of relief to whatever situation that you're going through. And in this case is, of course, you know, eczema.
Yeah.
So that's what, you know, visibility means to me. And it's a positive word. You know, I
Yeah.
think
Yes, I
it's
do. I agree
profound
with
and
you.
it's impactful the same way I feel like representation is.
Yeah. And it's being seen. You mean you hit it right on. And when you think
Hmm.
about it for the future, I mean, we're
Yes.
here today. We're here. We have the series. We have an Eczema Hub. We have, what is the future from your perspective? What are things, what will it look like if it you had to
Oh
paint a
my
picture of
gosh.
what it would look like,
I mean,
right?
I would,
Especially for Black and Brown communities on
yeah,
eczema and other skin conditions.
I would, oops, sorry.
That's fine.
I would love to see um, just variety. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that.
I really do.
I like that.
You know, options, you know,
Hmm.
things to choose from. Like I said, being a part of, being seen, being heard,
Hmm.
whether that's more in advertising, whether that's more in marketing,
Yeah.
whether that's more in, you know, products that are,
Hmm.
like you said, catering to our skin tone, you know,
Yep.
because it looks different. You know, our
Hmm.
skin tone, we need, you know, we have different needs.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so hopefully in the future, you know, that's definitely taken more seriously.
Yeah.
And there, it's just, it becomes more broad, this conversation.
Yeah.
Um, so that's what I hope for. It's just seeing more representation, seeing my face more, my
Hmm.
daughter, my son be able to see people, you know, that they resonate with, that looks like them and that they
Yeah.
feel like they're a part of, you know, when it comes to all things, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. And I couldn't agree more. I have my two young daughters as well. And when I think about skin visibility, the future of that, it looks bright, and I want it to be bright. And, it starts right here, right now, this
Yep.
conversation. This is where it begins.
Yes.
They're going to be the future actresses, scientists, etc. of the world, breaking ground. And I think that if they see more representation of themselves, especially in certain skin conditions they may have, and how to solve it and resolve it, their future is bright.
Yeah.
It's so bright. And I think it's impactful what we're doing here, as moms, as women.
Yes.
Because sometimes, we could feel like there's solutions for beauty, right? But then what about health? And I think
Yes.
that's where I also see the visibility of skin health going for, especially for our Black, Americans and around the
Mm-hmm.
world, skin
Mm-hmm.
health for all,
Yes.
and
I
and
agree.
and making it more inclusive, right?
Yes, that's what it's
We're
about.
part of the picture. We're there. We're not outside,
Yes,
you
yes,
know.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
so I know I'm seeing a lot of hellos for you. Someone shouted out
Ah.
Coco, C for Coco. I saw
I
that. I just
also
had to let you know.
I also saw someone said je t'aime beaucoup, je t'aime beaucoup, je t'aime aussi, je t'aime aussi.
Yes, yes. I'm
Oh, I
seeing a
love
lot of
it.
that.
I
But
saw
it's,
that somebody's from Indonesia on here, which is
yeah, I'm telling
awesome.
you, told everybody, drop where you're from. I
Yes.
love all the, we have people celebrating around the world. I love the diversity. I even saw someone
Yes.
here said they were, of a darker skin tone, but Filipino, and
Yeah.
also being able to relate. And it just goes back to the skin visibility, because I think sometimes, even though, we're Black, we're brown, we are
Mm-hmm.
represented across different cultures, which
Yes.
in itself is super important. And it goes back to mama's mom, like going, I'm just thinking about your mom and the skin condition, the
Oh,
hands,
yeah.
and,
Mm-hmm.
I'm also
The
Caribbean
crib,
too.
yep.
So, the
I
different
saw
myths
someone else.
sometimes that
Yeah.
come. And I
Yeah.
think we'd be surprised if we had to ask everybody what their stories were around the
Yeah.
world, what we would
I
hear,
know.
right?
I
About
know.
dry skin conditions on
Oh,
eczema, what they would
yep.
say.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's really great to kind of hear that, and be a part of the discussion. And want to
Yes.
remind the audience, you're part of a movement today.
Mm-hmm.
It's a movement, right? We're
Yes.
moving on. We're talking about brown and Black communities around the world, and we're raising the bar on
Mm-hmm.
the conversation, especially what statistics show in America, that eczema is a
Mm-hmm.
condition that, we're tackling a lot. But at the same time, it starts here, but it impacts everybody around the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and Aveeno, we're committed to that. Our, you know, the products that we deliver, the clinical studies that we have, we make sure we're intentional about the
Yes.
representation too. So I do see skin visibility when I think about it from my industry.
Mm-hmm.
I think about the intentionality about that, right? Maybe the future
Mm-hmm.
holds that we have full panels, that maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
all representation of brown and black
Mm-hmm.
only, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but we have combinations of that, but it's bright in multiple ways,
Yes.
right? And it begins here with you. And so we, you know, we want to just say thank you so much just for um,
Oh, thank
being with
you.
us, you know, and, you know, being able to share your story.
Yes,
I
thank
think I
you.
see all the love coming through. And it's so great because people are really, someone said live on Aveeno products. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yep. Yes.
Live on Aveeno products.
Yep.
And you know what makes Aveeno great? It goes back to the heart of our product, which is oat. And I
Yes.
love, if you see me around, you'll see me talking about oat hair every now and then. But other than eating it for breakfast, it's a great multi-functional ingredient that's beneficial, right,
Yep.
for every skin condition. So, you know, and for eczema, it's a skin protectant and it does wonders. So, you know, those on the audience, if you have a question, drop it in the chat as we kind of wrap up our discussion with Tia. If you have anything else you want to ask us, please go ahead. I see all of them coming in. Lots of highs.
Mm-hmm.
And how are you? And thank you for
Oh.
this. And no, thank you all for this because you're part of this discussion. We don't want to, I don't know about you, Tia, but I don't want this discussion to stop here, right? I want
No.
everybody to take it with them wherever. If they're at work right now, if they're getting
Mm-hmm.
ready to put the kids in the car or taking
Mm-hmm.
mom to the store, whatever it may be, because it's important, right, to stay
Yep.
connected
It
on
really, really
everything.
is. And then you know what's really great about
Hmm.
this skin visibility Instagram talk live is that you guys will be doing this for the whole month of October, correct?
We will
Like,
be.
yeah,
So
which is
we have
awesome. So this is, yeah.
two more episodes to come over the next few weeks. Next week, we'll be talking with our TikTok dermatologist, Camille Howard,
It was
and
awesome,
social
by the
media.
way.
Yeah, it's great. I've worked with Dr. Howard before. It's awesome. She's awesome. And then we'll also have our social media influencer who's big on eczema and skin, which is Ashley Laura. And they'll be joining us to talk about understanding
Nigeria.
if you,
Sorry.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
eczema sufferer, and then
Mm-hmm.
also how to treat it. Dr. Howard will be giving us tips and tools about going to the dermatologist and kind of how to treat it and understand the different diagnoses. So
Awesome.
it's gonna be hot. I hope everybody joins us to be able to tune in because there's so much more to come and so many resources. So, and also Tia, I hope that the conversation for this doesn't end for us here. You know.
No. Yeah, no. I mean, like I said, this is just I feel so honored to be a
Hmm.
part of, you know, such an incredible campaign because, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, everything that I do is to inspire and to help and to encourage. And, you know, love using whatever tool that I can use
Hmm.
to, you know, help. And so, again, I really think that this is such a great initiative. You guys have such a great narrative and a campaign. And, you know, I have joy sitting here talking to you because
Yeah. Same.
I don't feel alone. And I think
Yeah.
that's one thing that I would want to encourage everybody out there too is, you know, you don't have to feel alone.
Yeah.
You're not in this alone.
Yep.
There are so many others that are going through what you were going through. Like I said, there are different severities. And like you said earlier, it shows up, you know, eczema shows up very differently on other people. But
Yep.
to be able to bring, you know, an awareness, you know, is amazing and great because at the end of the day, our goal here is basically to help, you know, all of the, you know, eczema sufferers out there and give them some, you know, give them the relief that they
Yep.
deserve and that they need. So thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you so much, Tia. We couldn't thank you anymore. I mean,
Aw.
we love the partnership. It's right. It's obviously it's in line with our commitment to raise the awareness, close the educational gap. It's our race
Yep.
to skin health equity.
Yes.
And you know, and how it centers around Black lives. So to the audience, we thank you. We thank you
Yes.
for joining all around the world. I mean, we have everywhere
I know.
around the
I
world, Tia. Everywhere,
love
okay?
South Africa.
Everywhere.
Hawaii. Shaka Bra,
We
everywhere.
got
This is
Colombia.
like
We have
awesome.
everywhere is joining
Philadelphia.
in right now.
Love
Yes, it's
it.
amazing. But look at just as simple as just talking about a skin condition called eczema, and
Can bring people
what we bring
together.
together,
Yep.
bringing people together,
Yep.
right, on an important
Aw.
topic. So thank you for helping Abino as we press the mark, right? We're marching towards the mark on closing the gap, bringing people together, more awareness, more tools, more resources, experts
Yes.
on understanding what eczema is, how to manage, and then treat it. So
Yep.
we love you. We hope to see you soon.
Yes.
Okay. God bless you
Thanks,
and your
guys, so much.
family,
Oh,
your
you
beautiful
too.
family.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much for sharing everything that you do honestly with
No
us. We
problem.
appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you so much. You guys have a good day. Take care of yourselves.
Thanks so much,
Okay.
Tia.
Bye
Bye. It's great
bye.
talking to you. Bye
Bye.
bye.
You too.
Bye. Bye. And thank you, everybody in the audience. As we're wrapping up the discussion, I hope you enjoyed the session with Tia as our first installment of our three-part series called Skin Visibility. Please join Avino again at US, right on our Instagram page next week, where we continue the discussion with, again, our TikTok dermatologist, Camilla Howard, and also social media influencer, Ashley Laura, where they uncover if you are, and gives us tips and tools in identifying if you're an eczema sufferer, as well as ways to treat eczema. So I'll see you soon, and thank you again. And we love all the participation you've given today. Thank you. Bye-bye.